Good morning. This is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess bringing you day 42 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation, where we use female words. This would be February 11th if you're starting at the beginning of the new year. The alternative to projection. Any split in mind must involve a rejection of part of it. And this is the belief in separation. The wholeness of God, which is her peace, cannot be appreciated except by a whole mind that recognizes the wholeness of God's creation. By this recognition, it knows its creator. Exclusion and separation are synonymous, as are separation and dissociation. We have said before that the separation was and is dissociation, and that once it occurs, projection becomes its main defense, or the device that keeps it going. The reason, however, may not be so obvious as you think. What you project, you disown, and therefore do not believe is yours. You are excluding yourself by the very judgment that you are different from the one on whom you project. Since you have also judged against what you project, you continue to attack it because you continue to keep it separated. By doing this unconsciously, you try to keep the fact that you attacked yourself out of awareness, and thus imagine that you have made yourself safe. Yet projection will always hurt you. It reinforces your belief in your own split mind, and its only purpose is to keep the separation going. It is solely a device of the ego to make you feel different from your sisters and separated from them. The ego justifies this on the grounds that it makes you seem better than they are, thus obscuring your equality with them still further. Projection and attack are inevitably related because projection is always a means of justifying attack. Anger without projection is impossible. The ego uses projection only to destroy your perception of both yourself and your sisters. The process begins by excluding something that exists in you but which you do not want, and leads directly to excluding you from your sisters. We have learned, however, that there is an alternative to projection. Every ability of the ego has a better use because its abilities are directed by the mind, which has a better voice. The Holy Spirit extends and the ego projects. Their goals are opposed, so is the result. The Holy Spirit begins by perceiving you as perfect. Knowing this perfection is shared, she recognizes it in others, thus strengthening it in both. Instead of anger, this arouses love for both, because it establishes inclusion. Perceiving equality, the Holy Spirit perceives equal needs. This invites atonement automatically, because atonement is the one need in this world that is universal. To perceive yourself this way is the only way in which you can find happiness in the world. That is because it is the acknowledgement that you are not in this world, for the world is unhappy. How else can you find joy in a joyless place except by realizing you are not there? You cannot be anywhere God did not put you, and God created you as part of her. That is both where you are and what you are. It is completely unalterable. It is total inclusion. You cannot change it now or ever. It is forever true. It is not a belief, but a fact. Anything that God created is as true as she is. Its truth lies only in its perfect inclusion in her who alone is perfect. To deny this is to deny yourself and her, since it is impossible to accept one without the other. The perfect equality of the Holy Spirit's perception is the reflection of the perfect equality of God's knowing. The ego's perception has no counterpart in God, but the Holy Spirit remains the bridge between perception and knowledge. By enabling you to use perception in a way that reflects knowledge, you will ultimately remember it. The ego would prefer to believe that this memory is impossible, yet it is your perception the Holy Spirit guides. Your perception will end where it began. Everything meets in God because everything was created by her and in her. God created her children by extending her thought and retaining the extensions of her thought in her mind. All her thoughts are thus perfectly united within themselves and with each other. The Holy Spirit enables you to perceive this wholeness now. God created you to create. You cannot extend her realm until you know of its wholeness. Thoughts begin in the mind of the thinker, from which they reach outward. This is as true of God's thinking as it is of yours. Because your mind is split, you can perceive as well as think. Yet perception cannot escape the basic laws of mind. You perceive from your mind and project your perceptions outward. Although perception of any kind is unreal, you made it, and the Holy Spirit can therefore use it well. She can inspire perception and lead it toward God. This convergence seems to be far in the future only because your mind is not in perfect alignment with the idea, and therefore does not want it now. The Holy Spirit uses time but does not believe in it. Coming from God, she uses everything for good, but she does not believe in what is not true. Since the Holy Spirit is in your mind can also believe only what is true. The Holy Spirit can speak only for this because she speaks for God. She tells you to return your whole mind to God because it has never left her. If it has never left her, you need only perceive it as it is to be returned. The full awareness of the atonement, then, is the recognition that the separation never occurred. The ego cannot prevail against this because it is an explicit statement that the ego never occurred. The ego can accept the idea that return is necessary because it can so easily make the idea seem difficult. Yet the Holy Spirit tells you that even return is unnecessary because what never happened cannot be difficult. However, you can make the idea of return both necessary and difficult, yet it is surely clear that the perfect need nothing, and you cannot experience perfection as a difficult accomplishment because that is what you are. This is the way in which you must perceive God's creations, bringing all of your perceptions into the one line the Holy Spirit sees. This line is the direct line of communication with God. It lets your mind converge with hers. There is no conflict anywhere in this perception because it means that all perception is guided by the Holy Spirit, whose mind is fixed on God. Only the Holy Spirit can resolve conflict because only the Holy Spirit is conflict-free. She perceives only what is true in your mind and extends outward only to what is true in other minds. The difference between the ego's projection and the Holy Spirit's extension is very simple. The ego projects to exclude and therefore to deceive. The Holy Spirit extends by recognizing herself in every mind and thus perceives them as one. Nothing conflicts in this perception because what the Holy Spirit perceives is all the same. Wherever she looks, she sees herself, and because she is united, she offers the whole realm always. This is the one message God gave to her for which she must speak, because that is what she is. The peace of God lies in that message, and so the peace of God lies in you. The great peace of the realm shines in your mind forever, but it must shine outward to make you aware of it. The Holy Spirit was given you with perfect impartiality, and only by recognizing her impartiality can you recognize her at all. The ego is legion, but the Holy Spirit is one. No darkness abides anywhere in the realm, but your part is only to allow no darkness to abide in your own mind. This alignment with light is unlimited because it is in alignment with the light of the world. Each of us is the light of the world, and by joining our minds in this light, we proclaim the realm of God together and as one. And the lesson for today, lesson 42. God is my strength. Vision is her gift. The idea for today combines two very powerful thoughts, both of major importance. It also sets forth a cause and effect relationship that explains why you cannot fail in your efforts to achieve the goal of the course. You will see, because it is the will of God. It is her strength, not your own, that gives you power. And it is her gift rather than your own that offers vision to you. God is indeed your strength, and what she gives is truly given. This means that you can receive it anytime and anywhere, wherever you are, and in whatever circumstances you find yourself. Your passage through time and space is not at random. You cannot but be in the right place at the right time. Such is the strength of God. Such are her gifts. We will have 2 3 to 5 minute practice periods today. One as soon as possible after you wake, and another as close as possible to the time you go to sleep. It is better, however, to wait until you can sit quietly by yourself at a time when you feel ready than it is to be concerned with the time as such. Begin these practice periods by repeating the idea for today slowly with your eyes open, looking about you. Then close your eyes and repeat the idea again, even slower than before. After this, try to think of nothing except thoughts that occur to you in relation to the idea for the day. You might think, for example, vision must be possible. God gives truly. Or, God's gifts to me must be mine because she gave them to me. Any thought that is clearly related to the idea for today is suitable. You may, in fact, be astonished at the amount of course-related understanding some of your thoughts contain. Let them come without censoring, unless you find your mind is merely wandering and you have let obviously irrelevant thoughts intrude. You may also reach a point where no thoughts at all seem to come to mind. If such interferences occur, open your eyes and repeat the thought once more while looking slowly about. Close your eyes, repeat the idea once more, and then continue to look for related thoughts in your mind. Remember, however, that active searching for relevant thoughts is not appropriate for today's exercises. Try merely to step back and let the thoughts come. If you find this difficult, it is better to spend the practice period alternating between slow repetitions of the idea with eyes open, then with eyes closed, than it is to strain to find suitable thoughts. There is no limit on the number of shorter practice periods that would be beneficial today. The idea for the day is a beginning step in bringing thoughts together and teaching you that you are studying a unified thought system in which nothing is lacking that is needed and nothing is included that is contradictory or irrelevant. The more often you repeat the idea during the day, the more often you will be reminding yourself that the goal of the course is important to you and that you have not forgotten it. And again, the idea is God is my strength, vision is her gift. And that wraps up day 42 of A Course in Miracles. Until next time.